A handsome priest and a young nun are traveling when their car breaks down, and they are forced to spend the night in a motel with only one room left. The priest, being a gentleman, said, "Due to the circumstances, let's just share the room. I'll sleep on the floor, you can have the bed. I'm sure God will understand." The nun agrees, and they turn off the lights to sleep. Halfway through the night, the nun, who has always had the hots for the priests, gets frisky and suddenly has an idea. "Father, it's very cold. Could you help me? I'm sure God will understand." Hearing this, the priest gets up from the floor, gets a blanket, and gives it to her. Irritated, but determined to succeed, she tries again after a few minutes. "Father, I'm still cold. Could you please help me? I'm sure God will understand." So the priest gets up, gets a blanket, and gives it to her, and lies down again on the floor. By now, the nun is mad enough that she throws caution to the wind. She sits up in bed and puts on a seductive pose before saying, "Father, it's still cold, and no amount of blankets will help. Just for tonight, why don't you treat me as if I were your wife? I'm sure God will understand." The priest slowly sits up from where he lies, breathing deeply as he considers this heavy decision. "Treat you like a husband would his wife, you say?" The nun slowly nods and winks. Then he makes up his mind and says, "All right, go and get your own blanket. I'm going to sleep." 3 nuns passed away and went up to heaven. They were pleasantly surprised when St. Peter informed them that in exchange for their many years of servitude and chastity, God himself was going to bestow upon them each one wish. The first nun said, with a blush, "This is slightly embarrassing, but I have to admit, while I did love serving the Lord, the vow of chastity was really tough on me. May I return to earth for a weekend of unbridled lust with the face and body of Angelina Jolie?" St. Peter said, "Your wish is granted." Poof! She disappeared and returned to earth to fulfill her fantasy. The second nun agreed and said, "I'd like the same, but may I return with the face and body of Jessica Alba?" St. Peter said again, "Your wish is granted." Poof! Away she went. The third nun, an Italian girl, nodded her head in agreement. "I too would like the same, but may I return with the face and body of Alice Gann Pippolini?" With a confused look, St. Peter replied, "I'm sorry, sister, but I do not know of her. Is she a famous starlet?" The sister squealed with excitement. "Oh my, yes, she is. She's the most famous one of them all. Why, look at this article I've been saving for years." And with that, she reached into her pocket and pulled out an old, yellow, folded-up newspaper article, which she handed to him with shaking hands. St. Peter slowly unfolded the paper and read the headline aloud: "Alaskan pipeline laid by 500 men in 1 week." 3 women have just entered heaven and are standing in front of an angel and St. Peter to find out what kinds of special privileges they'll have while there. He says to the women, "I only have one question. Have you lived a chaste life?" The first woman answers, "I have only had sex with one man, my husband, and our first time was on our wedding night." St. Peter turns to the angel and says, "Ah, a woman who has lived as God intended, and certainly deserving of reward. Give her a key to the golden room." The second woman says, "I have never known a man's touch. I was a nun, and stayed in the sisterhood since I was only a young lass." St. Peter turned to the angel and said, "Truly exceptional, a woman who has gone above and beyond in service of God. Give her a key to the platinum room." The third woman says, "I fucked 239 dudes, 67 before I met my husband, 35 while we were dating, 12 while we were engaged, 78 while we were married, and 46 after he died." St. Peter stood stunned for a second, then leaned over to the angel and whispered, "Give her a key to my room." A porn star entering a barber shop, sitting next to a nun. The nun is currently getting her hair done. Meanwhile, the porn star is talking dirty shit about how he would like to have sex with the nun. The nun tries to ignore those words. When her hair is finished, she says she could do such unspeakable things as a nun and leaves. The barber then tells the porn star every evening the nun is at the cemetery praying to God. Just cover yourself with some old bedsheet. Tell her you are God, and then she will do anything for you. The porn star prepares himself a sheet, cuts in holes for the eyes like those ghost costumes, and hides in the bushes at the cemetery. The nun really shows up and is starting with her prayers. The porn star jumps out of the bushes and says, "My daughter, I will answer all you prayers, but first, you need to have sex with me." The nun agrees under one condition. It has to be from behind, because I want to keep my virginity. After they have finished, the porn star throws off his white sheets, screaming, "Haha, I'm the porn star." Suddenly, the nun throws of her frock, screaming full of joy, "Haha, and I'm the barber." 3 nuns are in a bus in Colombia, which due to budget cuts breaks, its axle rolls over and kills them all. When they come to, they realize that the 3 of them are in a cloud-filled place, standing in front of an elderly man at a dais, behind whom are enormous gold-plated gates, which at the moment are closed. The man says to them, "Welcome, my friends, to the pearly gates. My name is Peter, and I am the gatekeeper." The nuns, thinking that they have devoted their lives to the service of God, are relieved to find out that this is where they are. As they step forward, Peter says, "You 3 have been such devoted servants of the Lord that we will all rejoice to have you in heaven, given that you can answer one question each." The nuns are, understandably, taken aback. Peter asks, "So, who would like to go first?" 2 of the nuns step back, leaving the 3rd standing in front. Peter asks, "So, my friend, what is the name of the first man?" The nun doesn't even have to think. That's an easy one. Adam. The bells ring, the angels sing, and the first of the 3 is welcomed to heaven. At this, the 2nd nun steps forward, having a bit more confidence. Peter asks, "What is the name of the first woman?" The nun answers, without hesitation, "That's an easy one, Eve." The bells ring, the angels sing, and she too is admitted to eternal glory. Finally, the last nun is at this point relieved that the questions seem to be such trivial pieces of knowledge to those so pious as them, so she steps forward. Peter asks, "What was the first thing that Eve said to Adam?" The last nun then quakes a bit as she realizes that this question, unlike the others, isn't quite as trivial. She bites on her lip as she says, "Ooh, that's a hard one." The bells ring, the pearly gates are opening. My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.